Welcome everybody to Math in the Real World, everyone's favorite part of the show. We got to figure out where the heck we use these numbers in the real world, so we are here. Oh man, we are outdoors in the most amazing place. Brought some of my friends along. Tell us who you are and what you do, because we have a lot of questions for you. Man, what's going on?
Well, my name is Mitchell Coleman. I'm the Conservation Science Manager of the Tejon Ranch Conservancy, and that's kind of a mixed bag. I do all kinds of things. One day I might be repairing a fence to, do some kind of cattle management project to enhance riparian values. Another day I might be sweeping the floor in the office. So
jack of all trades.
Yes, so it's a lot of fun. I'm never bored.
Yeah.
But broadly speaking, science and stewardship on Tejon Ranch.
There you go. Sounds pretty exciting.
Plant species surveys, wildlife surveys, easement monitoring, all kinds of things. That's a lot of fun.
I got a lot of questions for you. Next, who do we have?
I'm Paula Harvey, and I am the Education Coordinator for Tejon Ranch Conservancy. And I bring students out on the ranch, and we do real science and investigation out here.
Yes, and you have an amazing classroom out here, Paula. This is
best classroom ever.
Unbelievable. And we have brought...
My name is Magali. I'm the wildlife technician intern, and my job is basically to monitor the cameras that are around the ranch and see the behavior of the animals.
And you can support the claim that this classroom is a little bit bigger than your normal high school classroom, right? Yeah, there you go.
Way bigger.
Good deal. It's so good to have you all. Tell me a little bit about the Conservancy, right? That's who you work for. When someone from Bakersfield says, oh, Tejon Ranch, and they know there's a whole lot of land and some animals up here, but what do you all do?
Speaking from a Bakersfield perspective, when most folks drive up toward what they call the Grapevine, they've actually been on Tejon Ranch before. So when you're driving up the Grapevine, you're driving on the western boundary of Tejon Ranch, the extreme western boundary, up the Grapevine, up through Lebec, and down onto the other side. And so that's what most Bakersfieldians, if I can say so, think of is Tejon Ranch. But Tejon Ranch is the largest private property in the state of California. 270,000 acres. It's one single piece. So if you're driving through the Highway 58 on the way to Tehachapi, you drive through Tejon Ranch.
Okay.
If you drive along Highway 138 toward Lancaster, you're driving through Tejon Ranch in part. If you're driving through the Grapevine, you're driving through Tejon Ranch.
Right.
So it's a huge, huge property from north to south.
And no matter where you're driving, usually, at least it's been my experience, you don't see a whole lot of development. So there's a lot of wildlife out there. We need to make sure people take care of it. And is that kind of part of your job and what you do?
Yes. Tejon Ranch as an entity has been around for over 150 years. Some folks from Bakersfield might recognize the name Beals, if you've ever been to the Beals Memorial Library.
Sure.
Edward Fitzgerald Beals, he came into this part of the world even before this was part of the United States and fell in love with this area.
Yeah.
He was the ranch's initial landowner.
He has good taste. It's a pretty amazing area.
He had excellent taste. Yeah. So he consolidated the property boundaries of Tejon Ranch into what it is today. His son, Truxton Beals.
There you go.
So that's where we get Truxton Avenue in Bakersfield. So the Beals were a big family back in this area. They were the initial landowners. The Chandler family, they were big in the LA Times back in the day. And then now the landowner is the Tejon Ranch Company.
Right.
They are a for-profit corporation company.
Gotcha. And that's part of the deal, right? I mean, you can, with commercialism throughout the world, right? People, I'm sure, look at this place and go, hey, California, we'd like to build some things there. But we all know that there's some amazing wildlife here, right? And we want to make sure that that's protected. And is that your job, to protect the wildlife, or to at least monitor what's going on?
Exactly, yes. So starting in the late 1980s, early 1990s, the landowner, the Tejon Ranch Company, started to have an eye toward development. They wanted to pursue various projects. They knew that they were going to run into some potential legal challenges. So they had the foresight to approach environmental organizations from the get-go. In the early 2000s, over the course of a number of years, they sat down with really formal meetings with a bunch of different stakeholders. And over the course of those meetings, they hammered out the details of what we now call the Ranchwide Agreement, which was finalized in 2008.
Gotcha. So there's so many things to hear about this thing. We want to make sure we get into some of the wildlife and what you all do specifically to help out, not only have people learn about all the things you're talking about, but also to protect the things that are here. So back to you in the studio, Mike. We'll be back in a bit.